Hello, friends, and welcome back to EB Sims. If this is your first time with us, my name's Elena, and it has been several weeks since I last uploaded. But hear me out. School. All right, I just turned in 30 pages worth of research paper. I have to present things, but I finally have a little bit of time to sit back and create TV show casts in The Sims because apparently that's my outlet. Today, obviously, we're doing The Good Place. If you don't watch this show, and I feel like that's kind of a silly question because everybody and their mother watches this show, but this is one of my all-time favorite TV shows, just like period. Like, everything about it is very good. I love the approach that they take. It's basically like if Miss Frizzle taught your philosophy class, and it's by the same guy who made Parks and Rec. So, you get to see, there's Adam Scott, who has been on Parks and Rec, is a demon in this show, which is really fun. But yeah, it has a lot of just like, like your comedy mainstay, like, character tropes, but in a really interesting way. It's like how to be a good person, but you don't have to take it too seriously. So I love it dearly. I will say that overall with these characters, I feel pretty good about how all of them turned out, but the skin that I use, I've been using a custom skin, because, I'm not a heathen, but apparently it actually makes them look less like they do. It makes them look less like real people, which is kind of hilarious. So I'll include screenshots at the end, obviously, of my Sims version of them and the actual actors, and then also the way that they look without the custom skin on, because it actually makes them look more recognizable. For some reason, this skin just like ignores any chin differences that they might have, and it makes it way harder to see cheekbones. I don't know, but I still like it. It still makes my regular Sims look pretty, so, there we are. But yeah, so obviously the lead of the show is Kristen Bell, who I love dearly. I think she's so funny and cute. And she's funny and cute in this show too, so, but she has kind of that problem that I had with Amy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where she's just, like, everything on her face is very kind of, like, small and very conventionally pretty. Which, obviously that's not a bad thing. She's just a gorgeous lady, but it does make it a little bit harder to make her recognizable. So I think the things that I kind of focused on with her face, which took me the longest by far of anybody's, was giving her, like, she has a very square jawline. She has a very kind of, like, square-shaped face she's got, like, a little pointy elf chin. And then trying to make her eyes, because she has, like, smaller eyes, but then she always has, like, dramatic, like, fake lashes, which it looks adorable. And so I use these eyes that have the big lashes on them and everything. I went back and forth on making her eyebrows, like, platinum blonde versus like the strawberry blonde. Another thing that I'll say about this is it was actually really difficult to find, like, profile shots of everybody. And because they're all comics, it was also really hard to find pictures where they weren't smiling, which that it makes your face look different. Like, it's harder to tell the difference, like the length between your chin and your nose and your lips and your nose and all that kind of stuff, which is important to making somebody look the way that they actually look. So, but we tried. I definitely spent the longest on Eleanor. She has that little, like, beauty mark kind of off to the side of her face because Kristen Bell has a specific freckle next to her eye. So I know that this isn't next to her eye, but I kind of wanted to use the New Get Famous, like, skin details, so we have that. I kind of hemmed and hawed over what I wanted to make her aspiration, because she is kind of like a party animal, or she was on Earth, she wants to, like, learn a lot, but that's in like, her heaven version of herself, and so it was kind of so I gave her the rich one. I don't know, I felt like you could get gameplay out of that, because she's very, like, on Earth, she's very ambitious, she does really well at her job, all that kind of stuff. So I made her creative because she's always the one that kind of, like, figures out what's going on. No spoilers, but she's always the one that, like, has the big revelation. She always comes up with the new plan and all that kind of stuff. So even though she's not as, like, bookish as Chidi is, I wanted to give her something that reflected the fact that she's really brilliant. And then I made her romantic because she's a bisexual champion who is horny all the time, and mean, because she's just kind of mean, and I like that about her. So I gave them all clothes that I felt like, I tried to give them all, like, their iconic outfits. So with Eleanor, that was a blue plaid. If I had my way, I would have been able to use that, like, plaid dress from, I think, Cats and Dogs. which is sort of that like billowy kind of like Old Navy type of garment. And if they had a shirt version of that, I would have been so happy, but they didn't. So here we are. But yeah, I gave her a blue plaid, and she's wearing like little Adidas All-Stars because that's what she wears just a lot on the show. She does have a fun kind of sense of style. I looked at just like tons and tons of screenshots of her to try and, you know, decide like how her makeup looks and all that kind of stuff. And her style is like kind of hard to pin down because it's sort of like sporty, but it also has these very like flowery, like floaty elements to it. If you have never, oh yeah, I was trying to emulate here, I think her best person outfit, which is one of my favorite moments from the show. So, you know, like an iconic outfit. But yeah, so her style was kind of fun. So I tried to mostly imitate things she wears on the show. Cause it was hard to like get a handle on what exactly her like style category is. But with the makeup, again, it was like a little bit difficult to do them because like on TV, obviously we've talked about this before, but on TV, there's always just this like face of makeup that every actor has on no matter what. So even if as a person, they probably wouldn't be wearing, I tried to give her like the Michigan sweatshirt. I don't know. But if you know, like you see somebody on TV, they're wearing like a full face of makeup no matter what, even if as a person they probably wouldn't be wearing that. So I was trying to kind of get the balance between like, you know, Eleanor on the show, I was looking very carefully and intensely at like the pictures, the screenshots from the show. And I thought that even though she, like as a person doesn't seem like she wears more than, you know, she probably wears like some blush and some eyeliner kind of a thing. But on the show, she has like, you know, like a neutral eyeshadow look and some eyeliner wings and all that kind of stuff. So I tried to strike a nice balance there, but she does look kind of a little bit overdone for how her character probably would dress. Again, I was trying to go with like the Michigan law outfit because I'm from Michigan, so I have to stan. Anyway, as from the second episode, I think, where she's wearing the Michigan outfit. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I considered giving her that shirt, but it just didn't seem quite right. I wish you could search. Can you do this? Maybe I just don't know, but I wish you could search by like patterns, in CAS, you know, so I could just be like, I want everything that's plaid. But yeah, Eleanor was kind of fun to dress. I tried to keep all of them kind of along the like color lines that the show lays out for them, especially in the first season. There's this theory that she's supposed to be Dorothy, and then the others are supposed to be like Chidi's the Cowardly Lion, Tahani's the Tin Man, and Jason's the Scarecrow, and it kind of matches a little bit with their like outfits that they get put in a lot. So Chidi wears a lot of like warm neutrals, and Jason wears a lot of like, you know, like light yellow and that kind of thing. Although with Jason, I gave him a lot of neon. We'll get there. But yeah, so Eleanor, I don't know. It was fun to try and pick out her outfits. What wasn't fun was trying to pick out lipstick. There's no, like, I would love for cast to have just more neutral makeup options, because there's a lot where it's like a very strong color. You're like, okay, so we're definitely wearing like a warm brown eyeshadow. And I just kind of wanted to have, that's the dress I was talking about. I just kind of wanted to have like, you know, a little wash of light brown instead of like dark. Although there's also not very much makeup that looks great on darker skin tones, so maybe I can just be salty about everything. This is one of the iconic Eleanor outfits from it's season 2, where they show up to the judges' chambers, and they're wearing their like 50s getup, and she kind of like waves a hand and puts them in outfits that they would actually wear. And this is the cutest outfit that Eleanor wears the whole time. She's got like this little red, white, and blue bodysuit, and like high-waisted jeans and big hoop earrings, and it's just adorable. And so I tried to emulate that. I don't know if it worked perfectly, but I think she looks cute, so fight me. I did give her the Seasons ponytail, I think, that has the undercut on it, but the undercut part was less important than the specific like way her hair is pulled back. So yeah, I don't know. Eleanor I spent the most time on by far. I actually tried, so I was cleaning out my folders yesterday to try and make a little bit more room to make my game run faster, because again, I'm working off of like a laptop that was made for editing Word documents. So I was kind of trying to make my game a little bit smoother, and I accidentally deleted the file in which I kept the draft versions of Eleanor, Chidi, and Tahani, which collectively took me 5 hours. Like, this video total, start to finish, is about 4 hours and 45 minutes of footage, and I filmed it all yesterday in one straight, like, I didn't get up from my chair, I didn't do anything, all one video. So I think it was probably best, that it didn't take me a bajillion years to do all this, but I was very angry that I deleted that file. But hey, now look at how smooth and pretty my game is, she says, as it's sped up 7 times, so you can't really tell. So Chidi, I love the way that all the actors on this show look. Like, they're just all beautiful people, so, I can't be mad about that. But also, they just all have such great faces. Like, I just loved looking at their faces, trying to make the sim face the right way. So with Chidi, I will say that William Jackson Harper, I believe is the name of the actor, he doesn't have quite these cool of undertones. I think that's one of the weaknesses of the cast skin tones, even once we got the expanded dark skin tones. There's a lot of, like, very red undertones and not as many, like, yellowy undertones. But, whatever. My life is so difficult. So William Jackson Harper? I forget. All of his names are, like, last names. But he has this really I love his nose. It's very, like, upturned, and it's close up to his eyes, kind of the way that Boyle's was from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And he has beautiful, like, just, like, kind of big puppy dog eyes a little bit. But the character wears thick glasses, which you'll see in a second, like, true nerd, like, Coke bottle glasses. And the actor does as well. So there's actually not very many pictures of him at all without the glasses on, which makes it difficult to figure out what his eye shape is. I tried my best, but I'm not super happy with it. I think his eyes are a little bit more, like, they protrude a little more. They're a little rounder. But we do what we can. But yeah, he was another one of the ones where, like, okay, Kristen Bell, there was a shot of her, like, just from the side. Like, you just saw her side profile. Like, that's available on the internet. But with William Harper Jackson, it's like, do you want a picture of him with big glasses on? Or do you want a picture of him, like, smiling beautifully into the camera? Which I'm never mad about, because I think that he's just very pleasing to look at. Unfortunately, it's not exactly what I wanted. But once he gets the glasses on, I think he looks very Chidi-esque. Brows I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to Jason, but the brows options on this game, like, sometimes leave a little bit to be desired, in that they all are, like, very thick, like, full brows. There's like one, I think, sort of sparse brow, like, there are ones that are thinner. This is one of the advantages of me having made this video before, is that the first time I filmed this, I spent so long trying to decide which glasses I wanted Chidi to wear, because this is another, I really would just like to have about twice as much of everything in Cass, but whatever. So I put him in, like, sort of square glasses when that's not really, or, like, rectangular glasses when that's not really what he kind of looks like, but it like, gives off the best vibe. But there's just not very many options of glasses that people actually wear. I would love to get just, like, your classic, the glasses that are shaped sort of like aviators, but they're like eyeglasses instead of sunglasses. So yeah, with Chidi, I gave him a lot of olive green because the sim that I made looked good in olive green. It's not that deep, but and I put him in, I think, I don't know, I love this character so much. He's just got this very, like, anxious, like, he wants to be good, and he wants everything to turn out good, and he's just, like, overwhelmed by anxiety all the time, which is relatable. But I tried to give off that, like, harried professor vibe in his clothes, because even after he dies, spoiler alert, everybody on the show is dead, he still has that kind of, like, oh no, like, kind of aura about him. I put him in sunscreen because I just thought it was kind of funny, the idea of him wearing, like, a hat to cover his face and make sure that he doesn't get, like, burnt. He's not going to get burnt. He's, like, very dark skinned, but I just thought it was indicative of his generally anxious state. But yeah, I think he looks because one of the quotes from the show is that Chidi is kind and gentle and surprisingly ripped. So I really tried to bless him with the pectorals and arms of William Jackson Harper, who in a recent episode of the show you get to see shirtless, and honestly, God bless. Okay, so this is Tahani, who is played by Jamela Jamil, aka the most beautiful woman ever made. Like, God was really in a good mood on that day. So this is her like first acting thing, and this is an embarrassing fact about me. I had a big Dan and Phil stage, and it was like late in the game too. Like, I was like 18 when I was going through my Dan and Phil phase, and I still love and support them. But they're the reason I bought The Sims 4 actually. But they had a radio show for a while, and Jamela Jamil was the like top 40 presenter, and so I remember seeing her on the show and going like, where do I know this girl from? And I was looking, and it was like, she's never acted in anything before. And I was like, what do you mean? But then it turned out that she was the one who compared Dan and Phil to celebrity couples, which, shout out to the people on YouTube who make compilations of that stuff. So her face didn't, like, totally, like, live up to my expectations on The Sims 4, just because she's so, like, I love her face so much. She's just this, like, she's beautiful. She's just a stunning lady. Me and Eleanor have the horniness for Jamela Jamil in common. But, yeah, so one of the funny things about doing this actually was that Jamela Jamil, for as long as she's been in the public eye, has had these, like, bangs that really suit her face really beautifully, because she has just, like, everything on her face is, like, soft curves and everything. So she's got these, like, soft, whooshy, kind of wingy bangs. And so I don't know what her eyebrows look like, because part of her thing is that the bangs always cover up her eyebrows just a little bit. And so there's literally no pictures online of what her eyebrows look like, and it's so hard. But yeah, so picking out a hair for her was very difficult, because her hair is kind of her, like, thing. She has these, like, long bangs, and she has very, like, just luscious curly. So I ended up sticking with the Seasons hair, even though the non-ideal thing about that Seasons hair, like, the bangs are a decent length. I feel like they do okay, like, representing the bangs she really has. And I really love the texture of the, like, bottom of the hair, kind of, the way that it's curly. There's a moment that I also love on the show where she goes, I'm a mess. I mean, look at me. My hair is barely cascading down my breast. And it's very funny, but it's also true. Like, her hair is just this, like, glorious mane. But the one problem I have with this hair is that Tahani always has a lot of volume kind of at the crown, like at the top of her head near her scalp, and this hair super doesn't have that. So it's not what I would have liked precisely, but we all have to live with things. She was another one where it was kind of hard to nail down, like, what makeup she wears all the time, because on the show it sort of ostensibly looks like she just wears, like, eyeliner and, like, a sort of fuchsia lip, but we know that that's not what happens on TV. So, yeah, I gave her a lot of, so she, unlike Eleanor, has a very distinct, like, you understand how she dresses after you see her, like, twice. So she wears a lot of, like, florals, a lot of gowns, like, everything she wears could be called a gown. I don't know if we've ever seen her in pants, because her backstory is that she's sort of, like, a prissy aristocrat a little bit, like, her parents are very, very wealthy, and so everything is accessorized, everything is, like matchy-matchy. She always wears gloves with all of her outfits, so I put gloves on every single one of her outfits, including her, like, exercise one. I'm pretty sure she wears gloves to bed, too, and I gave her a lot of, like, so, yeah, for her formal wear, I knew that it had to be, like, a full gown, which, some of the new stuff that came with Get Famous was really good for that, actually, but she has such a distinct, it's, like, the strapless heart, like, sweetheart neckline gown that really just, to me, is, like, the iconic Tahani gown. So I went back and forth, actually, a lot on, like, what dresses to give her for what times, but we got there eventually. So even though I know that this dress, which is the one I ended up giving her, like, the big floofy ball gown, isn't the most stylish, I really just felt like it worked the best for how she dresses when it's a formal occasion. Because for her, formal occasions are, like, soirees that are attended by Princess Diana and that kind of stuff. So we love Tahani, we stan, but she does kind of dress like it's 100 years ago and she's the Queen of England. And I don't think she would ever actually wear a lip this dark. I just thought it looked pretty on her. Because that's part of the fun of doing this, is that it doesn't really matter if, like, it does matter. But if you make the sim look enough like the person that they're supposed to be, you can kind of try out stuff where you're like, I bet she'd look cute in this. And then you can try it on, and probably you're right. But yeah, so I gave her, for her sporty outfit, I gave her, like, tennis whites. Like, the kind of outfit that you would wear in, like, the 20s, and you're playing tennis with Daisy from The Great Gatsby, and really you're just using it as an excuse to stand around and drink, like, spiked lemonade, and watch your tennis instructor's butt or something. Like, that just seems like what she's up to. But yeah, so I gave her, like, the sun hat and the white, like, the all-white outfit. You know, like, I wanted there, like, it truly disturbs me that we don't have just a pearl necklace on The Sims. Like, all I want is just, like, a single string of pearls, you know? Like, what's the rich Scandinavian lady from the Get Together pack? Like, what does she wear if not a string of pearls? Like, something that just goes perfectly with, like, a French twist, you know? Like that. Ugh, but sadly, yeah, she does wear gloves to bed. I'm pretty sure she wears that exact outfit, actually, the, like, pink robe at some point on the show. She wears a lot more floral print than I put her in, I think. But that's just because, you know, we have limited options. Although I will say that I would love to have a sweetheart neckline, A-line skirt, just, like, the perfect, like, hourglass sort of new look from the 50s type of outfit. And we don't quite have that, which is, I understand that, you know, we don't have, like, a lot of vintage material or anything, but, like, we have 50s decor. Why can't we have, like, a classic 50s, like, pinup dress almost? But here we are. So, as you can see, I never change her hair because she literally never puts on, like, not once in the show does she do something different with her hair besides when they have to, like, dress up to get into hell. It's a great show. I realize that's very confusing if you don't watch it, but it's an extremely good show. So yeah, here I, like, tried to give her that floral dress, but it's just, like, tacky floral, you know? It's not, like, the classy, like, hello, this was designer. Everything I own is designer. This pussy, Gucci. Coochie, if you will, kind of thing. Anyway, I spend a lot of time on the internet, in case that wasn't super, super clear. So yeah, she's everything that Tahani has is, like, the most feminine version of what you could possibly have. Yeah, she's cute. I love her. She doesn't look exactly like Jamela Jamil because I think that would break my game because she's just too pretty, but whatever. Yeah, so Jason. Oh, I forget to talk about what traits I gave to her. I always do this. With Chidi, I think I did unflirty, good, and, like, genius or something like that, because he is. And with Tahani, I gave her ambitious, something. Ambitious, a compliment, like, attention seeker, and something else. And then with Jason's traits were the easiest, okay? He wants to be famous. He wants to be, like, a famous DJ. And he is cheerful, childish, and a dance machine. And that's just, like, Jason in a nutshell. That's all his personality traits, pretty much. But so Manny Jacinto plays Jason, and he is also, like, one of the most beautiful people ever created. So on Twitter a while back, Lin-Manuel Miranda of Hamilton fame tweeted something like, he retweeted a photo of Manny Jacinto and said, "This man is so handsome, I literally gasped when I saw this and said out loud, that can't be right." And it's true. Like, his whole face is just like that. And it's hard to cope with that, you know, on a world where most of us don't look like that. But he's out there living his best life with the world's sharpest cheekbones. His face was actually super easy to make. I think his eyes were a little bit more difficult. I tried to match them, but it was kind of like, meh. But I think I got pretty close. There's just, like, there's not a lot of photos of him with his face totally relaxed either, but there's more of him, actually, because I think he is just so beautiful in the face that people take a lot of pictures. But mainly he just has, like, the world's sharpest cheekbones. Like, truly, his jawline goes out like he has something stuck in there. And then his cheekbone, it's like a little hourglass, but of his face. He's so handsome. He's so beautiful. Everybody on the show is so beautiful, and it's amazing, and I love it. His outfit was actually shockingly easy. So at the beginning of the show, people think that he is a Chinese monk named John Yu. So he spends a lot of time in this monk outfit, which, God bless, I think, the holiday pack or something. But there's, like, a perfect outfit for that. And so I understand that there's a big difference between, like, this Indian, I don't know what the correct word for it is, but I think it was meant to be, like, the Indian, like, sort of Diwali celebration outfit, and what a Chinese monk would wear, but it's pretty close. Like, it wasn't too bad. And then for the rest of his outfits, because he is actually a trash boy from Jacksonville, Florida, I fully gave him, like, everything that this is a fun thing about doing these casts, is that a lot of times I get to use create a items that I normally never do. So, like, a lot of the get-together clothes with, like, the headphones, and these, like, horrible hats, and, like, the jerseys and stuff worked perfectly for Jason. So, God bless. I also tried to give him, besides trying to give him, like, the trashy rave boy vibe, I also tried to dress him in a lot of teal and black, because those are the colors of the Jacksonville Jaguars, one of the worst teams in the NHL, and also Jason's absolute favorite, which is kind of a fun character detail for him. But he's the kind of guy that wears shorts to everything, so literally all of his outfits have shorts on them, even his cold weather one, just because, like, that northern Florida jackass thing, you know, just, like, everything he does is, like, why would you wear that? Why would you be dressed like that? What's wrong with you? But he just feels so great about all of it that you would feel bad getting mad at him. So, yeah. We also have Michael, who is, well, I won't spoil anything, but I just did a little bit. But he's played by Ted Danson, who's, like, you know, like, an absolute comedy, like, sitcom mainstay. Like, he's one of the all-time greats. And he, I believe, was on Cheers, I want to say. And he also has an interesting face, but he also was difficult to, like, kind of figure out, because all of his photos are either him smiling or furrowing his brow intensely. So he's, like, he's pretty close, though, I think. I think his outfits worked out really well, and his glasses and his hair. So, I think he ended up looking quite a bit like he really does. But the eyes weren't perfect. And again, the glasses, like, all I want is just your classic Coke bottle glasses. But they don't have that, you know? They have the weird luxury, like, vintage glamour glasses, I think, that are just, like, circular that your butler wears. Garbage. No. I want, like, glasses like the ones that I wear in real life, and, like, everybody else I know wears in real life. But this was a thing I was going to talk about with Manny, but I'll talk about it now, too. So brows are, like, really difficult on The Sims 4 in some ways, because when you're making somebody just, like, out of the blue, you know, and it doesn't, like, really matter, not that it doesn't really matter, but it, like, there's nothing that you're trying to match exactly. The brows are usually fine, like, there's a lot of options, they all look really good, but there's no sparse eyebrows. There's, like, a couple of pairs of brows that are, like, kind of thin. Like, there's definitely some thin brows. There's even, like, the non-existent brows. But I'm talking about, like, you know, like, Manny Jacinto has these, like, very geometric, beautiful eyebrows, but they're not, like, thick. Like, the hair in them isn't, like, thick and full. It's, like, sparser. And that is part of his look, which I feel like is so, like, if he had those right eyebrows, he would look so much more like himself. And Ted Danson kind of has the same thing. He has those eyebrows where you definitely can tell he just, like, clips them, you know? So right now he looks kind of like a weird porno version of himself, because he has these, like, very thick brows, but whatever. Life is difficult, but we'll all survive. So Michael is generally, he wears a lot of bow ties. He was pretty easy to dress. I just put him in suits. I don't know. I don't have a ton to talk about with Michael, but he looks, I think when you click on the item in the gallery, he actually looks very, like, immediately recognizable as Michael to me. And I think it's because of the suit. I think I put him in like this blue suit in the end, and he looks cute, and I love him. I don't actually. He's not my favorite character on the show, but he's really, really funny. And the glasses, the more accurate ones would have actually been the same glasses I gave to Chidi, but I wanted them to be distinguishable, so, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. So I gave him I gave him a definitely more, like, angular pair of glasses than he actually wears. But I don't think it turned out, like, all that bad. And I think that this is one of the iconic outfits that I definitely wanted to recreate, was his, midlife crisis outfit. So at one point, he has to realize that death is a thing, and it sends him spiraling into an existential crisis. So he gets his ears pierced, and he has Janet, who you'll see in a second, pretend to be stupid so that he can feel smart and all that kind of stuff. And he wears this horrible, he looks like a weird retiree in Florida who, like, wants to relive his frat boy days. And he wears, like, a white suit with a light blue shirt, and his glasses are gone because he's trying to act young, and he has, like, earrings, and he's, like, clearly going through some shit. So I wanted to include that because it's one other of my favorite moments from the show. So this is something that I spent a little bit, like, hemming and hawing over. I kind of wanted him to have, like, a romper as his swim gear, kind of like one of those old, like, vintage ones. Again, more vintage clothes would be lit, but one of those, like, bathing suits that, like, a rowing team would wear at Harvard in 1930. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's, like, the tank top thing. But none of the rompers quite worked for that, so life is hard, but I'll get over it. But he has that dorky dad vibe that I love so much. He definitely would dress up. He's, like, the Mr. Weasley of some of these things. He would absolutely 100% dress up in, like, ridiculous human stuff just because he thinks it's fun. At one point, he wears suspenders, and he's like, these are so much dumber than belts. I love it. And I didn't give him any suspenders outfits, but I probably should have, looking back. But he also has this very, like, distinguished, like, he's, like, the old guy that you meet on the street and sort of trust with your life. But yeah, so then Janet is, I did really like Janet's traits that I give her. So she's a Renaissance sim, I believe, which makes sense because she's supposed to know everything and be good at everything. So she's a genius, because that's just the truth of her. She's self-assured, which I gave her that trait because it's sort of central to her character. Like, she just knows exactly who she is and she feels good about it. There's a moment on the show where she's marrying Jason, and he goes, and to Janet, the best girl, and she goes, not a girl. He goes, robot, and she goes, not a robot. And he goes, and straight up hottie, and she goes, I am attractive, yes. And it's just fun. It's just fun. I love this show. But yeah, so Darcy Carden is the actress who plays Janet, and she is, I don't think I appreciated how much I loved her face until I was making the sim, because it made me so happy to look at her face. Like, I just loved to look at it. Her nose, she has a great nose. Like, her face is just very recognizable, I think, and just, like, pleasing. Like, she has just such an interesting, like, not everything is fit into, like, a perfect little square, like, pixie face. She's just, I don't know, she's striking, and I love her. And she also has a rockin' bod, so I definitely made sure to give her abs, because that's something you see in one of the episodes from the 3rd season. You get to see her abs for the first time, and it's, like, a beautiful moment. And me and Eleanor have attraction to Janet in common as well. But yeah, so I spent a lot of time on her nose because I wanted to get that exactly right, because she just has such a good nose. Her eyes were difficult because she's smiling in all of her pictures. You know, the actress is a comedian. This is her first big role. So all of her pictures, she's, like, smiling and laughing. And I'm like, just give me, like, a straight-on glamour shot. That's all I want. That's all I crave. That's all I care about. But yeah, so she was... But I think she turned out really well, too. Like, I see her from a distance in the gallery, and I think that she looks amazing and exactly like she should. So don't burst my bubble on that if you disagree. You just have to go with it. Yeah, I don't know how much time do I have left of the video. But yeah, so my laptop is dying, which is a fun fact about how my life is going right now. I spent a while picking out Janet's hair, but then I ended up going back to the first one that I tried, of course, because that's how my life works. Janet's hair like, she changes outfits a lot, actually. But I think that there's, like, the outfit that she wears for most of the first season is just so absolutely iconic. I had to keep that one. I tried really hard to recreate it. It doesn't work quite the same way in The Sims that it does. Like, her outfit in the first season of the show, because she always wears the same one, because she's, like, a computer program. She's, like, Siri. I think Eleanor calls her Busty Alexa at one point, which is hilarious. But she, like, pops in whenever they need something. And so she has this very clean-cut, like, administrative look to her. So for the first season, she wears a matching set where it's a vest and a skirt that are both purple and very office-y, and then just this kind of fluffy blouse that's, like, blue patterned and has ruffles at the front, which, you know, you're already thinking it. There's nothing like that in The Sims 4. I tried. I got the closest that I could, but it just really doesn't look like Janet without the vest. So I refused to compromise on the vest. I kept everything that I possibly could correct, but it's not, you know, like, she's wearing a purple vest, and that's as close as we were going to get with her outfit. The rest of her outfits were actually really fun, because I got to kind of just play with, like, what do I think she would look cute in? And I was right about everything, so you're welcome. I did try to give her, like, stuff she's worn on the show, or, like, similar things, but again, she wears, like, the same sort of pantsuit. I actually realized, as I was sort of doing my research for this video, that, so she has the vest and skirt combination, and they're always the same, they always match. And so I realized that her entire wardrobe, there's a moment on the show where you get to see, like, a bajillion iterations of Janet, and her like, iconic, like, vest and skirt suit, she wears one of those with every single outfit you see her in, even though there's, like, a billion of them. At one point it's, like, green, at one point it's blue. Like, she just wears, like, a bunch of different colors of that same vest and skirt combo that we just super don't have in The Sims. I ended up giving her a men's vest, I believe. You can see how long it took me to make her. Just to get that one outfit right. This outfit, I actually will say that I changed her hot weather outfit. You'll see it and you'll think that it looks like trash, and you would be right about that. But rest assured I did go back and change it later. But yeah, so here's me trying a bajillion different things, but it just, like, it doesn't look like Janet until she has that vest on, and it frustrated me so much. But I ended up giving her a men's vest from, I believe, the Vampire Pack. Beggars can't be choosers, you know, or maybe the Restaurant Pack, something like that. But, like, this, she looks like a weird schoolgirl. I hate it. No. Another thing that I will say about Janet is that I threw in, if you go look for this on the gallery, you'll notice that there's actually 7 Sims in the household, and that is because I added a bad Janet, because there's, like, the evil alter ego of Janet, kind of, in the show, and that's another one of, like, the greatest gags that they ever do. She goes around calling people stuff like fat dinks, and, like, it's amazing. And, like, she farts just a lot for no reason, and she looks sort of like a horrible parody of Jersey Shore, and it's amazing. And since I already had, like, she's played by the same actress, and since I already had this perfectly good Darcy Carden face, I figured, why not just, like, go ahead and give her some bad Janet outfits. So I gave her, like, the blonde bouffant and everything, which was really fun. I just thought I'd throw, like, a little bonus one in there. It was hard to figure out, because these are, like, 100% absolutely the main 6, you know, which I think is a pretty good size for a comedy cast. But these are, like, 1,000%, like, the main people. And I think they're in the right order, even, in terms of, like, how main they are. But these are the ones that are in every season of the show and every episode. And I love them dearly. But yeah, so this is one of the ones where I was like, she has abs. What if I just gave her an outfit where you can see her abs? I love being a trash barrel. I don't know. So that's The Good Place. If you do play with them, like, if you download them and use them and you want to tell me about it, I would love that. If you think of any other TV show casts that you would like for me to do, I am 100% down for that. The next one that I think I'm going to do actually this afternoon, because I did not take my ADHD meds today, so I am ready to hyper-focus, is the cast of She-Ra, because they came out on Netflix a couple weeks ago, and it's made by Noelle Stevenson, who is, like, the patron saint of lesbians in TV shows, and so besides Ellen, obviously. You know, it goes Ellen, but Noelle Stevenson is like the cartoon version. And so it's just an amazing show, and I love it. And I really love trying to translate, like, cartoon faces onto kind of, like, Sims. What do I think they would look like as real people? Yeah, I just think it would be so fun. And I love all those characters, and they're so cute. And they have, like, interesting faces and body types and, like, color schemes. And I'm very excited about it. But yeah, so that's what I think I'm going to do next. But if you have any requests at all, I know that I'm just such a huge star, and I'll be very busy. But I might get around to it. Yeah, just let me know. And I think hopefully I'll be able to get another episode of the Cult Let's Play done in the next, like, week or so. I do have finals coming up, even though I did most of my papers, so wish me luck. I haven't had to do, like, test finals in a long time because I was an English major in college, and so now in grad school having to do, like, oh, I have to memorize all these things, it's not my strong suit. But then again, neither is writing super long papers. I have useful skills, like making Sims look like people on TV shows. Anyway, if you would like to play with these, they are on the gallery under my username, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I hope you appreciate you, and I will see you all next time. My laptop just ran out. God bless.